In this video, we deep dive into a reduction kernel in GPU programming. The floating iceberg represents the concept of GPU programming. Everything we see above the waterline represents the concepts related to the host, which is responsible for offloading the parallel tasks to GPU. The iceberg beneath the water level represents the concepts related to the GPU itself. Let's consider a kernel code is to find the sum of the elements of an array. This function is tagged with the global keyword, which indicates that it's a function means to run on the GPU. It takes the input data pointer and the output result pointer. Instead of trying to understand the code as a whole, let's break down into three distinct parts: data load, data processing, data store portion of the function. In the later part of this video, we will look into each of these parts of the function systematically. Threads and blocks are software concepts, abstractions that it will make easier for us to work with GPUs. Typically, these are set by host side code as kernel arguments before launching the kernels. On the lower side, we have concepts related to the GPU, such as shared memory and synchronization. It's also useful to visualize everything above the water level as host memory and even GPU's global memory, while everything below the water level represents the data within the GPU's shared memory or register memory. As a GPU programmer, your skills lies in efficiently loading the data from the GPU's global memory and processing it, then writing it back to global memory. Let's consider a memory of size 64 units residing in global memory of the GPU. It is stored in contiguous memory locations, but for spatial constraints, I have represented it as 2D grid. Since global memory is much slower compared to the shared memory or register memory, these memories are limited in size as well. Small portion of the data is loaded by a block at a time. A block is made up of multiple threads. So let's divide the global memory into manageable small chunks, in this case 16 units each. We will then launch 4 blocks, each having 16 threads. Now we have one thread for each unit of the memory, and the data loaded into the shared memory is performed by involving all the threads. Remember, each of these threads blocks are executed at different times, so they are independent to each other. Each block accesses only its portion of the memory it is assigned to. There's no need to have one-to-one match between number of threads and memory units. The GPU has limit on the number of threads per block. Each block finds some of the memory it is assigned to. The final sum is written into global memory by a single thread. This must be done using atomic operation, since the final sum is the contribution of all the blocks and needs to be updated only one block at a time. Now, let's focus on what happens within a block. This is the part of the code responsible for loading the data into shared memory. Each block is responsible for loading its portion of the 16 units of data into shared memory. Here, the shared memory space is depicted. The thread barrier is provided to ensure all the threads finish loading the data into shared memory before proceeding. In the next part of the code, the loaded data is accumulated into a single sum. The sum is calculated by involving only half of the threads. The entire shared memory is divided into two parts, and the first part is updated with the sum of itself and the second part. Then the first part is again divided into two. This time, even fewer threads are involved, half of the threads used in the previous steps. At the end, We are left only with two memory units, and one thread performs the final sum corresponding to that block.